Please protect me from those that
Good evening, everybody.
that don't want the best for me. Dear
Okay,
God,
let's talk for a second.
please protect me
So,
from those working
my baby
harder to
girl
hurt me than they
is
are
a
to help me.
student at the
God,
Job Corps
please
in
protect
San
me
Francisco.
from those that pretend to
We
love
have
me,
had a series of
really
issues
have no
that
love
are
for me.
very
Amen.
concerning, both
God,
as a parent,
please protect me from
but
those
because
standing next
most
to
of
me
the issues
that don't want the
are
best
coming
for
from
me.
the African
Dear God,
American staff on
please
campus,
protect me from those
yeah,
working harder to hurt me
it's a
than
problem.
they are
And I want to
to
talk about
help
it
me.
if we can.
Dear God,
So,
please
if you
protect
are
me
a student
from
or a
those that
former
pretend to
student
love
of
me
the Job
but
Corps
really
in
have
San
no
Francisco,
love for me.
California, and you
Amen.
experience any sort of
God,
bullying,
please
harassment,
protect me from
manipulation to
those
get
standing
you
next to me
expelled from the
that don't want
program,
the best for me.
especially when you were
Dear
close to
God,
completion,
please
please
protect me
please
from
comment,
those
please
working
share,
harder to hurt me
and sign the
than they are
petition because
to help
something
me.
has got to
Dear God,
change. Okay?
please protect
So let's
me
start with
from those
the
that
first
pretend to
issue.
love me
The
but
first
really
issue we had
have not.
is my daughter
Please
was on
protect me
campus.
from
She
those
had
standing
left
next to me
campus for
that
the
don't
weekend
want the
and
best
came
for me.
back, and she had
Dear
had,
God,
I want to say, a pretty stressful
protect me
weekend.
from those
She
working
didn't come
harder to
home. She
hurt
kind
me
of
than
was
they
hanging
are
out with some people. It
to
just
help me.
was not
Dear
healthy.
God,
But she
please
came back to
protect me
campus
from those
and
that pretend to love me
ended up
but
having
really
what the doctors
have
call
not.
a pseudo
Please
seizure.
protect me
She
from
had
those
that on
standing next to
campus,
me
and
that
the
don't want the best
campus
for me.
staff's
Dear God,
response,
please
not
protect me
the
from
campus
those
doctor.
working harder to hurt
And
me
we're gonna
than they are
for
to help me.
there's an
Dear
added
God,
level of security.
please
We're not going to say their
protect me
actual names. We're going to
from
call him
those that
Dr.
pretend to love
W
me but really
or Dr.
have
VW.
not.
Let's call him Dr.
Please
VW.
protect me
Kind of like
from
Volkswagen.
those standing
Okay.
next to me
Dr.
that don't
VW's
want the best for
response
me.
was
Dear God,
she had been
please protect
taken off
me
the campus by
from those
ambulance,
working
returned back
harder
to
to
the
hurt me
campus. He
than they
evaluated her
are
and he said, I do
to
want her to
help
have
me.
a neurological
Dear God,
evaluation, but
please
she can
protect
continue with
me
the program. Just
from
get the
those that
results back
pretend
to
to
me.
love me
That was his
but
response.
really
However,
have
campus
not.
staff
Please protect me
Campus
from those
staff
standing
is
next to me
giving
that don't
post-traumatic
want the
slave
best for me.
syndrome.
Dear God,
Campus staff
please
is
protect
giving
me
bitter
from those working
old
harder to
lunch
hurt me
lady with
than they are
like
to help me.
a
Dear
mole with
God,
hair poking out or a
please protect
mustache
me
and beard.
from
Campus
those that
staff is
pretend to love
saying,
me
no, she
but
needs to
really
go. She needs to
have
go and she
not.
don't need to come back.
Please
Nobody's
protect me
medically
from
qualified to
those
make such
standing next to me
decisions. They don't have the
that don't
title,
want the
but what they
best for me.
do is they
Dear
become
God,
so
please protect me from those working
cunning
harder to hurt me than they
that they
are
band together
to
and they
help
say, hey,
me.
this is what we're going to do
Dear
as a
God,
collective because I sent
please
her home.
protect me
And I want to
from
make sure
those
my
that
job is
pretend to love
secure.
me
I
but
sent her
really
home because I don't feel like
have
she needs
not.
to be here. I
Please
feel like blah, blah,
protect
blah,
me
blah, blah, blah. But the
from those
medical
standing
doctor
next
is
to me
saying
that
she can
don't want
stay.
the best for me.
Let's
Dear
just
God,
get a neurological
please protect
evaluation.
me
And then
from
after I
those
make a
working
slightly
harder
big
to hurt
stink
me
about it, they all
than they
come
are
together as a
to
collective
help
and
me.
say, this is
Dear
what we're going to
God,
do
please
as a
protect
collective
me
because we're not going to be
from
divided
those
in
that
this
pretend to
space.
love
We're
me
going to
but
be
really
on one accord and we're
have
going to
not.
all agree that she needs to
Please
have a
protect
neurological
me
evaluation,
from
this,
those
this, this,
standing
this,
next
this,
to me
this, and this,
that
before she
don't
can
want
return
the
to
best for
campus.
me.
Or she can't.
Dear God,
Well, here's what
please
happened.
protect me
I
from those working
contacted
harder to
Children's
hurt me
Hospital
than
in
they are
Oakland,
to
where
help me.
her medical
Dear
doctor
God,
was. I explained to
please
them the
protect me
situation. They
from
wrote
those that pretend to
at
love me
least 2 to
but
3
really
letters
have
clearing
not.
her
Please protect
from
me
a
from
neurological
those
perspective
standing
based
next
off
to
of
me
their background and
that
their
don't
ability to
want the
write a
best
letter
for
and
me.
saying, hey,
Dear
she's
God,
okay. We can't get an
please
appointment for
protect
another
me
2 or 3
from
months,
those
so on and so
working
forth,
harder to hurt me
but we're going to be
than they
on this.
are
Can you allow her
to
back on
help me.
campus?
Dear
No,
God,
we can't.
please
We're going to
protect me
require, Dr.
from those that
VW
pretend to love
requires
me
her to
but really
have, so now they're putting
have
all of
not.
the weight on Dr.
Please
VW.
protect me
I had a
from
conversation
those
with Dr.
standing next to
VW.
me
He did not
that
say
don't
that.
want the best for
He
me.
said his
Dear
actual
God,
recommendation was she should
please
be allowed to
protect
stay
me
on campus, but we
from
can
those
go
working
ahead
harder
and
to
request a
hurt me
neurological
than they
evaluation for
are
the safety of
to
the
help me.
student as well as
Dear
so
God,
that the staff could
please
be better
protect me
prepared.
from
They
those that
disregarded
pretend
that.
to love me
Whoever
but
we're
really
gonna call
have not.
Miss
Please
C
protect
or
me
Miss
from those
Flower
standing next
R
to me
or
that don't want the
whomever the
best for me.
other
Dear
lesser
God,
qualified employees
please
are,
protect
they
me
made the active
from those working
decision
harder
to
to hurt me
override the
than they
medical
are
professional's
to help me.
recommendation and then get
Dear
him to
God,
agree that we all
please
agree on this
protect me
as a collective.
from those that pretend to love me
Problem.
but really
Okay,
have
so what
not.
happens next?
Please protect me
It takes us
from
a
those
couple of
standing
months, but
next
not
to
as
me
long as we had
that don't want the
anticipated.
best for me.
Doors open, praise
Dear
God, for
God,
her to get an
please
evaluation. What
protect
went
me
from August
from
ended up
those
being
working
like
harder to hurt me
months in
than they
advance.
are
And she got the
to help me.
neurological evaluation.
Dear
Following the
God,
neurological
please
evaluation, I
protect me.
submitted all of this, not just
Please
to the staff
protect
on
me
campus, but also to all of the, if you go on Google, you can check who is running the staff at Treasure Island, San Francisco, and it will give you the department. It would give you the staff members that are over that department in their respective positions, and their emails and their phone numbers. Why? And that's the Department of Justice. Why? Because in cases like this, there is a system in place. Students actually have rights. They don't tell the students their rights. They don't give them enough awareness on how to function in their rights, but the students have rights in this case. And because I had, even the doctors at Children's Hospital was like, what is going on with these people? Why is this staff so hell-bent on keeping this young person out of this program? Did she offend offend them? Did she do something to offend them? What is going on? And my response was, that's exactly what I said. I'm like, did you upset somebody? Did you offend somebody? Why are they targeting you? What is this? Is this normal behavior? Is this what they do? At that time, I thought it was just an isolated event. Okay. And I'm thinking, okay, we just got to identify everybody. I'm going to put somebody on this. The people that are in leadership positions on the island seem to be conforming to the lesser qualified. Maybe they have tenure, maybe they've been there longer, but they don't have your role. And you're conforming to them rather than they conform to you. So they're running the show. And there's, leadership tends to impact the mindsets, the attitudes of everybody under them, including the students, right? So keep that in mind here. Long story short, what happens is I send the paperwork, I send the letter, and I send an email, and the doctor sends an email. Now, mind you, the neurologist who examined her said, that's strange. Why are they doing that? That's, you have a right to not even give them your medical records. And I'm saying, yes, she does. But because they have somehow managed to manipulate Dr. VW into walking in agreement, in alignment with this, the director is saying, this is what is going to be required, and anything beyond that, she will not be able to get in. But the doors were open. So the neurologist wrote a letter, and we still did all of the testing before she was allowed to come back to campus. Now, that's situation number one. Again, if you have attended the Job Corps in San Francisco, California, on Treasure Island, and you have had any such experience where they have bullied you or was in any sort of way targeting you or mistreated you or had any sort of favorites, where if it was people that they liked, they gave them a pass. But if it was people that they didn't like, then they railroaded them and cornered them and ended up ejecting them from the program either days before they graduated. In this particular case, my daughter is set to graduate in May and complete the program. I don't understand. Like, why do you allow us to? It's more like it's kind of giving like this is not a job opportunity program. It's like you're running an asylum / jail / youth authority camp. It doesn't feel like the goal is to actually see the young people win, complete the program, and become productive citizens. Now, I've said this before, and I said this in the email, but now I'm saying it publicly because that was issue number one. We did have a second issue similar to this, but that issue was resolved on campus, right? And as I instructed my daughter, I'm like, you need to, number one, not be reactive, calm down. Consider your motives and the intent of your heart. Was it impure? Was it negative? Because if so, you need to be accountable for your actions. Absolutely. But we're also going to hold the older, more seasoned staff accountable for theirs, right? So that was situation number two. It resolved on campus. Situation number three happened yesterday. Or the night before. So let me tell you the situation. Here's and let me give you a little bit of background. My young person is actually studying to become a medical assistant. Keep that in mind because that's important and very much so relevant. Okay. Now, as a medical assistant student, I'm assuming you're going to learn first aid. I'm going to assume that you're learning how to respond in case of an emergency. I'm going to assume that you're learning basic emergency response procedure. That's my assumption because I'm not there and I'm not a student there. I have taken first aid and I've taken other classes, but for the most part, we're just going to leave it there. Now, here's what happens. It's the nighttime. I'm kind of tired. I had an exhausting day. My daughter calls me frantic and offended, like highly offended, upset, frantic. She tells me that a fellow student they were having a conversation together. And while they were having a conversation together, the student's eyes began to roll back in her head. As the student's eyes began to roll back in her head and she started to slump to the ground, she grabbed my daughter for support, grabbed her hand for support, and then she's down on the ground. My daughter is calling and telling people, hey, go get help, yada, yada, yada. There's other staff present, but those staff members are not telling my daughter, let her go, get away, blah, 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 don't mess with her, don't intervene. They're running to get help or they're participating in trying to help the same student. That being said, other staff members arrive. And when those other staff members arrive, they're instantly, get your hands off of her, stop touching her, yada, yada, per her conversation. This is what I'm told. I wasn't a witness. She then says that while the other student was holding her hand that was dealing with the either seizure-like response or allergic reaction, whatever she was dealing with, whatever this child was dealing with in that moment, she's holding on to my daughter for security, for support, for help. And these people come and start to scream at my daughter, telling her to let her go while she's trying to calm her down. She's trying to make her feel supported in this moment. And the staff member grabs my daughter's arm and proceeds to get her away from the girl. My daughter responds with, you're not supposed to be putting your hands on me. Get your hands off me. All of that. It's instant. Like, this situation is already super hypersensitive and you are attacking me and I'm here trying to help. or I'm trying to help my friend and you are holding me hostage as if I'm a culprit in this situation and she's having a reaction. We don't know what's wrong. Long story short, in that time, my daughter says, hey, let me go get off me. I don't want to hurt anybody. Was she within her right to respond and to defend herself? Absolutely. Why? Because you've now violated her personal space. You put your hands on her and you did it in an aggressive fashion and then threatened to have her kicked out simultaneously. Why is that a thing? Why are you so comfortable doing that? What is happening here? I don't understand. Again, if you were a student here at the Treasure Island Job Corps in San Francisco, California, and you have had any sort of reaction where you're wondering, why is that your quick response? Let me threaten to kick you out. Let me put measures in place. Let me put paperwork in place. Let me grab a collective of people that we can hurry up and railroad you and blacklist you in such a way where we can get you kicked off of campus and kicked out of the program and retain our jobs. The devil is a lie. That's going to be a no-go. Why? Because you put your hands on her. That was problem number one. Now, she left the scene and called me. When she called me, she got frustrated with me because my response was, wait a minute, what's going on with the child, the young person? She's like, Mom, the ambulance took her. She's going to be okay. She had calmed down a bit, but they still took her. I got her to calm down. But these people put their hands on me and are threatening me to kick me out. And I'm going, she kept saying, it was like, I'm like, I need to know what happened with the young person. You have to tell me what happened so I can understand the whole story. She got frustrated with me, hung up. Well, then I called the school, the Job Corps Center back. It's after hours. There's no number for you to call in case of emergency. That's scary. That's scary. That's very scary. Okay, she wasn't answering her phone, so I waited. Rather than going over to the Job Corps campus, I waited till the next morning, and she responded and let me know, because at that point she had calmed down. She let me know that the friend came back. She was okay. She was better. Everything seemed to be okay, but she wasn't sure, and she was on her way to class. And then I started to ask her who did what, specifically what happened. This is where I recall you saying what was what. And when she started telling me the names of the staff members that came out, I asked her to text me those names because I'm not getting a response. I called last night. I called this morning. I called again and left a message for the center director, who is Miss M. Right? And then I called back and I left a message for her counselor, right? And the goal here is to say somebody needs to have a conversation with me, because why is it that every time something happens, the staff so comfortably, instantly threatens the children with expulsion and then do it? What is that? Why is that? What rights do the children have? If you were a student at the Treasure Island Job Corps in San Francisco and you experienced any sort of discrimination, any sort of bullying, any sort of blackballing by staff members based off of something when you were not in error, based off of actions that say they were wrong and you were held accountable, but they're not, please comment, please like, please share, please sign the petition, because I need to understand why this is the thing. This is not the second situation of such confusion. It's the third situation. This is the third time that a staff member has taken a situation that really could have been, I mean, my brain is like, this is why she's here. She's here to learn how to become a medical assistant. If she's assisting medically, why are you physically touching her in an aggressive way? Why are you not saying, okay, we can take over from here? Why are you not partnering with her for the betterment of that person that's dealing with the medical issue? Why are you making her a culprit and you some sort of innocent villain? That makes zero sense to me. How is this? And this is, like I said, this mindset, and the person, Miss Flower Tulip, we're gonna call her Flower Tulip. I don't know what I called her earlier, but Miss Flower Tulip was able to try to get her to sign something that said she agreed to whatever their interpretation was, and said that my daughter threatened assault or whatever against the staff. And I'm going, if you don't have a witness. Now, I've asked my daughter. My daughter said, I did not threaten anybody. I said, I don't want to hurt anybody. You don't have a right to put your hands on me. Get your hands off me. She asked her that multiple times. But once a person put their physical hands on you, that is a violation of your personal space. So for you to flip a situation and try to justify it with the fact that you're going to get a whole staff to come into alignment or agreement with your lie, I'm trying to figure out, why are you guys there? Because clearly you're not here for the betterment of the child. I don't know if you had a troubled childhood. I don't know if you're dealing with instability on in your own lives. I don't know if you have, maybe relationship issues going on, whatever bitterness you might be dealing with. But why is it that this is your resolve and you're comfortable doing it? Why are you comfortable doing this type of thing to a student? She is to graduate in May, and I declare that she's going to graduate from the Job Corps program in May. If you do not have a witness that can stand on the court stand and say with all honesty that they heard her make a threat of violence against somebody, that is defamation of character, and I do believe you will be held fully accountable for your actions. I don't know if everybody wants to be sued, and I don't know if everybody wants to lose their job, and I don't know if everybody wants to be outed, but the next video I make is going to identify every person on campus in every email that I have sent that have been a party to such actions, because I feel like it is horrible and despicable behavior of any sort of staff member to comfortably
from those
damage
that
a child's
pretend to love
or a young person, because she's not a child anymore, a young person's ability to make a better life for themselves, especially if they've had a challenging history. This is a second chance program. And for some young people, a third chance program. How can you do this comfortably and maintain your stability at job? No, the devil is a lie. You're going to reap what you sow. You sow insecurity and instability into my daughter's life when she was not doing anything wrong. You will reap it in yours. Period. Dot. End of discussion. Tell me what you think in the comments.
Amen. God, please protect me from those standing next to me that don't want the best for me. Dear God, please protect me from those working harder to hurt me than they are to help me.